Hey everyone, apologies for the slight delay. Happy ETHBrno, and Anett will be coming shortly. I have one announcement to make. There's a second track here in the conference room downstairs, so feel free to go there. There's a talk from Adam about free the web, so he will be presenting some IPFS stuff. And yeah, Anett will come shortly. She had slight delay, unfortunately, but yeah.
Dobrý. Hi everyone. Sorry for the slight delay. So we're gonna start in a second. I just wanted to welcome you. There's gonna be a proper opening later. Just the basic information because we haven't explained it properly. There is a self-solving bar. You are not paying for anything, so just look for the ETHBrno sign, take whatever you want from the fridge, make yourself coffee. There's even stuff like the fake milk, so look for it, take whatever you want. There are some snacks, and there's gonna be dinner at 6 p.m. So you'll be taken care of. Here, Anett will start in a second, and downstairs there is a conference room where are the workshops. So you have maps all around, I hope. The Wi-Fi password is I feel good. It should be written at the registration and somewhere around here as well. And if you have any question, look for the team. Usually we are in this shirt. So don't forget to ask anything. And now I'll probably can hand over.
Okay, let me try this real quick. Prosím? Aha, no. Nie. Vieš sa tam zapojiť? Ďakujem. Okay. Hi everyone. Thank you so much for coming to Brno. Today, I'm just kicking off this conference, and it's pretty exciting for me to open the conference itself. And just to begin, okay, who I am. So, I'm Anett. This is the picture that I'm kind of being known on the social media with, and so I work at Ethereum Magicians as Ethereum Standards Coordinator. I used to work with Nethermind, but recently got laid off, and then I came back to Magicians, but I'm in a space for over 3 years. And today is kind of cool day, because not only I'm opening this conference, not even a conference, this is actually a hackathon. But also I got to know yesterday that my talk's supposed to be like an hour-ish long, which I was not expecting, to be honest. But I've been working on my slides until like 3:30 a.m. So if those slides are not totally fine, I'm sorry, but I've been like working on them for a really long time. And so I'm just hoping that it's gonna be good. So on today's agenda, I'm going to a little bit talk to you about the hackathon itself, and then I will move to the Ethereum roadmap, which is the topic that I thought that it would be very cool to keep at Ethereum hackathon, right? To like talk about the overview of what happened over the past like 2 years with Ethereum, and what's gonna happen in the upcoming months and years with Ethereum. But welcome to ETHBrno, and I'm really glad that you all came to the hackathon and that you guys made it, and it's gonna be a great weekend full of hacking, and I'm pretty sure that we all are gonna have an awesome weekend full of hacking and creative ideas, and I'm excited for the energy and vibe that we are going to all create there. So, ETHBrno. What's ETHBrno? ETHBrno is actually not a conference, it's a hackathon. So we are going to be focusing on building and less for telling. Although the beginning is just for talks, and the real hacking starts at like 6 p.m. I believe, if there won't be any delays. And hackathons are always about showing over telling. So it's about building, and it's less about ideating and like making up ideas and think what can be cool, but it's more of like actual building. As hackathons are here to make something cool rather than just like ideating, because usually the conferences are all about making up ideas and like presenting like what we can make, or like shilling projects, but the hackathon itself is more of like building. Let's like build something cool and like, you know, create smart contracts, build UX designs, or anything like that. So, what the heck is hackathon? So, hackathon is about teaching new skills. There will be some talks here and there which are supposed to give you like a good foundation on what's gonna happen, and like give you better like educational materials, or like give you better just like overview of like what's going on, or like even like teach you some new skills. Mainly in person, although there are going to be some talks happening online as the speakers could not make it in person. So that's that. Then it's also about building and growing the knowledge. Of course, talks and also peer-to-peer learning, as there will be there's so many cool people that you can learn from, and that's the reason why we come to in-person events, to like learn more and to get education in like a different way, because you know, online you can like, yes, read articles, read documentations, talk to people on Discord, but it's not the same as giving, like talking to people in person. So it's much more human, and it's much more like about building better connections with people, establishing friendships, and all that comes with the in-person part of the hackathons itself. And we are also going to shape the Ethereum ecosystem by creating new ideas and building new ideas and build upon smart contracts and like, let's make Ethereum cool, you know. So, hackathon is also a place where ideas grows. So we come to the hackathon, we think before coming to the hackathon like what we can make cool, or what we can like build or improve in the ecosystem itself. And then on the hackathon itself, that's where the ideas itself grows, and we are trying to put the ideas, something that is not very, just like the idea itself, the thought, we can make it into something like a product itself, and we can build like demo and all that. So on the hackathon itself, we are trying to push our limits and try to, you know, go a little further down the way. As at home, you probably don't even have time to like work on your own ideas, or like you just want to like have a place where you can concentrate for like a week or weekend with a bunch of other cool people, a bunch of cool hackers, and then make something awesome. Vibes are vibrant. That's something that is like a joke. I just inserted, by the way, in these slides I inserted a bunch of like weird jokes, and I feel like vibes are vibrant is one of the ideas that I feel like I just have to have on my slides. So yeah, we are all gonna vibe on some like, you know, just like have fun, and we are all hackers, and let's like create something cool and let's vibe together. And especially you guys will see these vibes are vibrant at like 2 a.m. when we all will be tired, hacking all day long, especially on Sunday when, you know, most of us won't be sleeping for like 48 hours, and it's gonna be fun. That's where you will actually feel the vibes are vibrant idea sort of like made into itself. So yeah, we are also leveraging the skills to build. So all the skills that we have, we can put into an idea, and we can form teams. Also, these hackathons are awesome because you never know who you will meet, and I'm pretty sure that a bunch of people come there even without teams, and they make a new friends and build on the cool ideas, and that's how we are leveraging our skills, and also like different people have different skills, you know, and then we can like learn. That's why the peer-to-peer learning is happening, as we are also, not even the speakers itself are teaching you something new, but also you guys are learning from each other as humans, and hackers, and judges, and mentors, and there will be many of us. So, ETHBrno². Today's, or like this weekend's theme is private and security, but that's not only the topic that it's gonna happen, or like that's like the main topic, but there are also many like hashtags of like how the projects can look like, or what can be a part of the project itself that can be the hack. So today is the time for you to shine and let the creativity flow. And it's gonna be awesome, and I'm pretty sure that you guys can create very cool stuff and build very cool ideas out of this hackathon itself. So as I mentioned, this weekend is for building. There will be a bunch of mentors, I'm pretty sure in person, but also online. They are hanging out on the Matrix channel, where you can reach out to us anytime and we can like help you out. So yeah, if you need help, just reach out either to like in person. I'm pretty sure that there will be even some help desk available for hackers, where you guys can just go and ask for help. Just be creative with your project ideas. It should be fun. I'm pretty excited for this weekend because this is like one of many hackathons that I've been to, but you know, hackathons are always exciting. A couple criteria for this weekend. Yeah, every idea sounds cool, so make sure to pick one and build upon it. Because ideas are meant to be grown, and ideas are meant to be created, and the hackathons are about like creating ideas and just building and like, you know, let's make something cool. It doesn't need to be something that you want to create into like a real project. It can be just like a pet project and like try out your skills. Keep things simple. When in doubt, ask for help. That's why we have mentors and judges. And I'm pretty sure that mentors are here to help you. That's the purpose, actually, of the mentors itself. Just some advices for project submissions, especially for hackers. Don't stress about the presentation. I know that many of you guys will, pretty sure, hold microphone for the first time or will be presenting something for the first time ever. It's not a big deal. Like, yes, when you hear yourself for the first time using microphone, the feedback from the speakers, yeah, it can be, it cannot be fun. It may not be fun for you at the beginning, but just get used to it. It's like, you know, over the time you will learn and you will speak much more, possibly. Keep things simple and quick. Try to fit under 4 minutes, especially for submissions. When you guys are going to present, try to keep things very simple, very short. Try to rather show us demo than just telling us some like random fluff. That's much more important for judges itself to see the demo rather than just to hear your ideas. Yeah, and then good luck with your presentation. So, that was about the hackathon itself. I hope that I told you a bunch of helpful ideas for this weekend, and I'm pretty sure that there will be actually opening ceremony, which I wasn't sure like how to frame my talk when they gave me such a long time, so I thought that I would just share with you some of my ideas that can help you to prepare for this weekend. So my first part of the talk was about that, and now it's gonna be the more advanced part of the talk itself, and I'm going to talk to you about the Ethereum roadmap. And yes, I used the emoji of the train itself because there was the Ethereum hack song, I'm pretty sure that's how it names. It was created like 2 years ago. You can find it on YouTube, but it's kind of funny, but it was like a song with a train, and that's just like a meme, and I'm just gonna like insert some like inside jokes here and there to my slides. So that was one of them. So firstly, I would love to give a shout out to one of amazing community that I've been working for past 3 years with. This community gave me also amazing mentor, and it's actually the community or the reason why I'm even here and why I'm so engaged with the Ethereum community, because it's the Ethereum Magicians. And now I'm just gonna give you a little bit like introduction what Ethereum Magicians, so you guys can also use that for hackathon itself because that's kind of a cool community. So what's Ethereum Magicians? Ethereum Magicians is a community of individuals that are collaborating together to improve the Ethereum itself. There are many like main point of Ethereum Magicians is to create noise-free discussion space. As earlier, there was so many discussions happening all over the Twitter and all over different social media, and we just wanted to create like a one space where core devs can come and talk about AIPs, about technical improvements on Ethereum, about anything that can be discussed but should not be used like a group chat for it, because when like EIP stands for Ethereum Improvement Proposal, and those are very key improvements that are happening on Ethereum, and those should not be discussed in a Telegram chat or on a Twitter, because those discussions can get very easily lost. So we created Ethereum Magicians, a community discourse forum where usually people go and they post their AIP there, and then they discuss it with the community. They get a feedback from the community itself as well. And that's where the core devs are hanging out, and it's very key part of the improvement process, as that's where most of the core devs are hanging out. And it's also recommended, if you create AIP, then definitely post it to Ethereum Magicians forum in order to get more feedback, as that's a part of the AIP process, that you should get some community input on your AIP itself. So what Ethereum Magicians do, not only we maintain the forum itself, but we also are facilitating discussions, and like usually it's like a fishbowl format. What's fishbowl format? It's like a usually circle at the beginning, in the front of the room, where we invite a bunch of core devs, even like Vitalik usually join us, and where people can discuss about the improvements. Last time we held this half circle was in Bogota, but we before that we host that in Amsterdam at DevConnect. We had our biggest event there, and then we are usually crushing just a bunch of conferences. So we are hanging out in person, but also on Ethereum Magicians forum. That's where you can like anytime join. And I highly recommend you to check out the forum itself, especially if you are working with something like standardization related. And when I'm talking about standards, I published the thread, like very complex thread, like 2 days ago, I think, about AIPs, and you guys should check it out. I did not actually put it in my slides, but as I'm speaking, I think about it, and I feel like that's a very cool thing to mention. So if you guys want to learn more about AIPs, I actually wrote so many articles on this on my Medium, which you can find very easily. Just to type my handle, which I mentioned earlier, but I will mention it at the beginning of my slides, and add that Medium, or just Google for my name. So yeah, so that was like a little bit about Ethereum Magicians and why you guys should use it. Now let's go back to the Ethereum roadmap, because that's where things get funny. And especially core devs get very creative with this. As they made the merge, burge, splurge, scourge, verge, plurge, and splurge. Those are all the parts of the Ethereum roadmap. We are right now on the merge. We are working or starting to work on the verge, which is going to be next upgrade. So are we excited? Yay, most likely. So if not, anyway, I'm just going to speak about the Ethereum roadmap, and that's where things can get very complicated. Maybe I'm just trying to like explain this as simple as possible, so please. So what happened before the merge? So this is what happened, or these things that I just mentioned on these slides are the things that happened over past 2 years. So this slide is mainly about the discussion that happened in Osaka, which was, damn it, actually 3 years ago, where we almost died in Osaka, because in Osaka there was DevCon 5 happening. You know, when the typhoon hit the Osaka and Japan back then. But with Magicians, we hosted their kind of cool session, which was focused on Ethereum 1, ETH1 to ETH2, and then ETH2 discussions, which was another like 3 hours long panel with Vitalik and a bunch of other cool people. So we've been discussing about Ethereum transitions, proof of work to proof of stake, transition happen actually. So we made it. The stateless client, that we started discussing the stateless client, which was kind of cool because we wanted to make Ethereum stateless. The state itself is the data availability layer, by the way. So we wanted to make Ethereum stateless. Right now there is the stateless client actually kind of moved a little bit to AIP 4844, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later. But also Piper Miriam created a working group, and then after Osaka there was the ETHCC in Paris, where right after that COVID started, but that was the last time where he hosted a workshop on stateless client. There was like a full weekend where a bunch of Ethereum core devs and client teams work on how to make Ethereum stateless. Then state rent. The state rent discussion popped up as well. And what's state rent? State rent is basically making, it's mainly about archival nodes. And this discussion came up especially after people or developers started using blockchain as a storage, which is kind of insane. And like why we should use Ethereum or like blockchain as a storage, like that doesn't make sense. But you know, suddenly people started putting a bunch of data on the blockchain itself, and we were like, what the heck, like this should not happen. But then it, actually, thanks to this, we the gas prices rise, and there was this like huge boom of like, oh my gosh, like we have to pay so much suddenly, like huge gas fees for transactions. Why? Because we are putting so much data, and this has risen especially from the NFT boom when we started putting a bunch of metadata, uploading that on chain, and that became kind of insane. But there was also like a group of people that started thinking like archival nodes and how to save the data and how to save the transaction itself that are on blockchain, and how we can save this transaction and have them for the future purposes so we can learn. So we still have this like state stored somewhere. So that was the stateless. And then another one was the sharding. I'm gonna talk a little bit later in my slides about sharding itself, but sharding means basically scaling. Another idea, the IP 1559 actually rise after Osaka a little bit later, and that's the ultrasound money meme, which means we are burning a bunch of ETH. And the screenshot is actually from yesterday, so we managed to burn way more ETH than expected. Yeah, so that's kind of funny. One last thing that I wanted to mention that is not on this slide is the ProcPow. We were like, okay, well, there's ProcPow, and ProcPow is kind of cool, but it's actually way too controversial for core devs to even spend time on it, because why should we even talk about ProcPow? All right, so many people don't know what ProcPow is, but that's okay. That's like AIP that was like way too controversial, and it was a thing like 2 years ago, 3. I'm sorry. So, Ethereum roadmap. Where we are right now? Right now, with Ethereum roadmap, we are currently somewhere between. No, we are actually in phase 1 here. So this is a very cool graphics made by Strand van Ips, who is one of the people that are working with core devs. He's one of the coordinator of core devs. And this is basically showing us how the Ethereum is merging and the phrases that we are going through. But that's just like informational graphic itself. So let's talk a little bit about scaling. Scaling is very important part of Ethereum. The main goal of scaling is to increase transaction speed, which means have faster finality, and then maximize transaction throughput through TPS stands for transaction per second, but while remaining still secure and decentralized, because that's what we want. We want to keep Ethereum as secure as possible, as decentralized as possible, as fast as possible, while trying to make the most of out of it by making sure that we have a lot of transactions per second, as there was a bunch of network congestions happening. This was actually caused by NFTs itself when they grew up like a year ago. Yeah, you can take a picture. I'm gonna leave this slide for a second if you want. Okay. Okay, I can like move it back if you want. Yeah, I just want to like, you know, this is like quite a small audience, and I want to like keep this kind of friendly. So let me know if you need a picture from that. But I will share the slides with you afterwards. So on-chain scaling, yeah, we have two types of scaling. One is on-chain, one is off-chain. I'm going to introduce you to the both. Not sure how technical my audience is. I kind of believe that I'm just trying to like break things down so you guys can like understand everything. And basically sharding is the multi-phrase upgrade. It's also trying to split the chain itself to reduce the congestion and increase transaction per second. It also tries to improve the security and enable layer 2s to offer low transaction fees while leveraging the security of the Ethereum itself. So that's sort of just like overview of the sharding itself. And this is why we are even doing that's why Ethereum is moving to proof of stake in order to improve the scalability and in order to maintain the high throughput of the transaction itself. So, sharding highlights. Just some quick features of why we are doing the sharding itself, or why we want to like make sure that we have the Ethereum proof of stake, because they managed to run the Ethereum on much smaller devices, and we don't need like a huge hardware for it anymore. So it's like proof of work required a bunch of like hardware, and there was like, you know, especially as Bitcoin has so much like mining machines and all that, so we don't need that. In Ethereum is trying to also do the light client itself, where you don't need, you can, I think you can even run Ethereum on your phone, I believe, but also I managed to run the Ethereum because I made a validator on Beacon chain, and I managed to run it even on my laptop, and I don't have like even like M1 laptop yet, but you know, you can just like run it on even like a shittier laptops. So we are trying to make sure that the Ethereum is much more scalable, and like anyone can run the node itself, and we can support the infrastructure and make the Ethereum more decentralized so anyone can run the node. And hiring or like making sure that we have more network participation. And eventually we may even get the staking fees lower, as that's one of the ideas that Justin Drake has. Justin Drake is the core developer, by the way, who leaked the date of the merge, and then everybody get mad because everybody was like, whoa, what the fuck is this, you know? So he told us some date, and in Ethereum, or especially if you are developing something, you should never promise any set dates, because you never know when something will screw up, and you will need more time for testing. So, okay. So why we even need layer 2s? So, as I said before, increased transaction per second, which is improving UX, reducing the network congestions, reducing UX in terms of that it's like easier for users to just like see the transaction going, because especially in mainnet, you sometimes need to wait for like minute 2, 3, 4, 5 in order for your transaction to go through. And with layer 2s, it's much more instant and it's much more shorter. Also with layer 2s, what's happening is that all transactions, or like more transactions, are rolled into a single Ethereum mainnet transaction. What it means that I'm pretty sure that I have it on later slides, but there is like much more transactions that are batched into one mainnet transaction, and that's basically how layer 2s works. So it's about reducing fees and making Ethereum more accessible, as I mentioned, with the improving the UX. I still have like 15 minutes, right? 5? I can make it like more. Okay, that's fine. Okay, I'm just gonna like make it quicker then. So rollups. Rollups have a little bit different security model. There are two main rollups. There is also state channels, but we don't really use state channels anymore. We are mainly focused on optimistic rollups and zero knowledge rollups. Here's a little bit difference between the optimistic rollups and zero knowledge rollups, which we can decide like which one is better for you or which one is a developer you want to use. But here is like the difference, the general difference. I'm not gonna read it because it's on my slides. But optimistic rollups and zero knowledge rollups are the ones that are sort of competing between each other, and it's mainly just like, oh, you know, zero knowledge rollups or optimistic rollups, like which team will win, and optimism people are actually much better in memes, but then zero knowledge people are much better, like much more like academia people. So like, you know, choose your fighter and choose like whatever works for you better. So yeah, that's it. So scaling. Now let's get things a little bit more complicated. If this was not enough complicated, I'm like trying to still breaking things down. So AP4844, I'm just gonna like pile you into this into this AP, because there was such a huge boom on the Twitter. Actually, regarding this IP, the Nethermind client managed to make an implementation for that, so kudos to them. So that's the team that I used to work with, but yeah, they managed to do that, and I think that today I saw the tweet that, the Chain Safe team, the Chain Safe team also made implementation for that as well. So what's IP4844? It's also another name for this IP is proto-dunk sharding, which I'm pretty sure that you guys already heard that if you are active on the crypto Twitter. And it's basically a shortcut of two names of two developers, Proto-Lambda and Dunkrat, so it's sort of like a meme. This IP is introducing blobs. Its proposal to add independent gas market for evaluating transaction costs, which means they are attaching single data blob, which is 10 times smaller in size than the full block itself. So it's IP, rollups, sharding. So this is a part of the key development if proof of stake. And as I said, it's reducing the block size space in layer 2. So, shard blob transaction. It's currently targeting between 8 and 6 blobs per block. Block size are not fixed, but blobs, yes. So there is like a definition how much blob size, like how much is one blob size, and there are like a bunch of blobs in one transaction, in one block. And there you guys can like read the details on that. But it's basically that the size of the blob itself should not change, because size of the blocks is changing, but the size of the blob should not change. So that's very similar to AAP 1559 as well, if you guys are aware of that. That's the ultra some money AAP itself, but this one is more of just making, it's just targeting the size of the blob itself. So yeah, blobs are included in a block. They vary. What's important on this slide? Yeah, so data. So the data blobs doesn't need to be stored forever, but the transaction itself needs to, because in a block, what's included is data sampling, which are all the data. Data are like metadata, like JSON files, and all that. And the second part is the transaction itself. The transactions will be stored on the blocks, but then the data itself, data regarding the transactions or like the metadata itself, those will be stored in blobs, and the blobs will disappear after like 2 weeks, and the 2 weeks is enough time for us for either for fraud proofs, for the optimistic rollups to give us enough time to prove that the information is true. And also it's using polynomial commitments, which are regarding the data, and polynomial commitments is hashing the data, and it's much easier for nodes to read the information when it's using polynomial commitments rather than hashing. And I'm pretty sure that's it. So the good of AAP 4844. This is very crucial AAP for achieving the rollup centric roadmap. It's lowering the rollup fees. It's much better for the disk space, as the data are deleting after 2 weeks. Yeah, and they're like short-lived, so that's pretty much it. The downside is that the validators need to add extra disk space for data blobs, and yeah, they're requiring extra disk space. But it's still less than like a full blocks, so it should be much better for validators. I hope that AAP 4844 piled you today. The word piled is using DC Builder, who is not there today, but he was supposed to be there. But it's his favorite word, so I'm just using that as kudos to him, but he's sick, unfortunately. So hi, DC Builder. I'm just saying hi to you because you are maybe on the live stream and watching this talk. Thank you. So back to the merge a little bit. I'm just going to like quickly run through of the roadmap and the future itself a little bit. These are the information on these slides, what happened in Bogota. And it's basically, yeah, that as we all know, the merge happened, it was successful, and we got to know that core devs under the pressure can ship, and they shipped the merge, which was awesome. The Hive test should start earlier. Yeah, of course. And we got a bunch of experiences from the merge itself, as this was like very huge upgrade, and the Ethereum community, and especially core devs, been getting ready for that for months, for years actually, because the merge was supposed to happen like 2 years ago, but it happened in September 15. What's kind of the downsides of the merge, or what escalated from the merge, is the MEV uncertainty. MEV stands for, it used to stand for minor extractable value. Now it stands for maximal extractable value, because miners are not a thing anymore, they're validators, but the MEV, the shortcuts still stay. So the MEV troubles, or like the things with the MEV, the front-running transactions, emerged very close to the merge itself. It did not get enough support from the client teams because it emerged about a month before the merge happened, and suddenly the client teams had so much work to do on other things instead of the merge. There were some bugs that occurred as well, and some of them hit mainnet, which unfortunately, you know, that's the nature of the open source ecosystem, and that's the nature of the development. It should not happen, but there were a few bugs regarding the MEV, but it wasn't anything tragical, but you know, things happen. So, lesson to be learned. We should address issues immediately. Builders need to communicate things a little bit better, and education is super important, especially on the corridor level. From what also emerged from the discussion that we had in Bogota is how to become core dev. There was also like a meme which floated around for a bit when Amin Soleimani, he's the guy from SpankChain. He's extremely smart. I know SpankChain is not a project that you guys want to probably think about when talking about Ethereum, but he basically asked like how to become a core dev. And so there was very like a discussion like, what the heck, like I want to be core dev, but like how to become a core dev. So Ethereum Foundation has a fellowship program which runs in a cohort, and they have like a training program where you can join and you can work to become a core dev and like work on the protocol layer itself and then just develop. But also Nethermind is having the internship program itself. Okay, I'm just gonna quickly. Okay, so there's like the programs where you can like learn like how to become core dev, and where you can like learn more about that. And yeah, the merge happened. Shanghai upgrade is just like another upgrade that is coming in Q1 of 2023. Oh, actually 24. There will be some IPs which we don't really know which ones will be yet. There are currently like 23 IPs which are candidates for Shanghai IP, but this will be much more reduced. And then Vitalik released the new version of Ethereum roadmap, which I'm sure that you guys are also. And as I'm running out of time, this is like everything that I just wanted to mention. My favorite one was the splurge because it says that it should fix everything else that we need to fix, and that's kind of funny, and that's pretty much it. So data and development doesn't go hand in hand together, so we should not use the dates in the future. We learned that, especially this is a good lesson to learn for Justin Drake. And that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for staying with me, and enjoy the hackathon itself. Please ping me on Twitter. Here is my handle. I will send you the slides afterwards. This handle works for my Telegram, so feel free to reach out to me through either one of those. And thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm actually judging this hackathon. I'm very happy to like help you guys with anything, and I will be running around. So thank you. Yay.